I'm Zach Sharp, Director of Marketing for Stern Pinball.
Godzilla, King of the Monsters, one of the, if not the most important monster licenses in the whole world. How amazing is it to have that in conjunction with Stern Pinball?
You should do my job because I couldn't have said it any better than that. I mean, you've got the King of the Monsters. I mean, Godzilla has been around for so long and has influenced so many, new properties. It's just forever green. No pun intended, but Godzilla is the king for a reason.
Stern put so much detail into these machines, like going into so many of the small, minute details. I really enjoyed the Led Zeppelin machine and how much of it, not just the songs that everybody knows on that one, but the deep cuts as well. And that's kind of the similar thing going on here with this machine. You've got obviously major themes like Mechagodzilla, but you've got some some deeper cut content here as well.
Yeah, I mean, with every license that we work with, we work really close with our licensors. So it's really cool that, for each new game that we work on, we all become super experts and learn, so much more about these themes that you would never even think of. So, the game designers, the artists, the sound engineers, everyone that works on these projects, puts their heart and soul in these, and it shows. To your point, if you're a fan of Godzilla, you're going to see stuff when you're looking at the artwork and the mechs themselves. It's mind-blowing.
And again, as is often the case with the recent Stern models, this one comes in 3 different forms. You've got the basic form, you've got the deluxe form, and then sort of the limited edition form. What went into sort of the differences between those 3?
Yeah, so for our cornerstone models, so the games that we have, the Pro, Premium, and Limited Edition models, the Premium and Limited Edition have more mechanical action in it, where the Pro is more for locations and has kind of less moving parts, so they're even more reliable on a heavy location where they're going to be played constantly. And for the Limited Edition, it's the same mechs that you would find in the Premium, but it's different artwork, some extra artwork on the inner art blades inside the machine, and a couple extra knickknacks, a mirrored back glass, and they're limited to 1,000.
Zach, can you talk about how this relationship came about? Because Toho is really, they're really careful about who they license their IP to, and you guys obviously got one for a brand new Godzilla cap. How did you come to them? Did they come to you? Talk about how this relationship came about.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely collaborative. So, I mean, whenever it comes to pinball manufacturing and bringing your license to pinball form, no pun intended, Stern Pinball is the king of pinball manufacturing. So anytime that any property has any interest in creating a pinball machine, Stern is the #1 phone call away. And there's a lot of people on our team that have been fans of Godzilla for decades. So to have the opportunity when Toho was interested in doing a pinball machine, it was a no-brainer.
Did they have much input on what you could and could not do with this machine? Was there anything that that Toho was either this can be in there, or this should be in there, or this can't be in there?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely worked really closely with them. So, going through the different eras of films and kind of trying to come to a consensus on both sides, what would be the best representation of Godzilla? I mean, I know there's a lot of different, and I'm going to butcher the names, but we ultimately landed on the Toho Showa era Godzilla series of films. So that's more the assets that you would see in the machine versus, some of the more recent films.
And this also comes included with another of your more recent releases, which is Stern Insider Connected, which this would be one of the first machines that's going to have it built in right from the start, isn't it?
This is the very first machine, that has Insider Connected. So this is going to help kind of snowball and kick off our entire connectivity platform.
And can you speak at all to any of the plans that you have for Insider Connected with the Godzilla machine in particular?
Yeah, I mean, right from the jump, I mean, there's going to be achievements that, players will be able to achieve when they're signing into their accounts and playing Godzilla, which will be hitting locations super soon, if not already.
That's fantastic. Like, I have a pinball place pretty close by, and I really hope they pick up this machine because I would love to go in there and do some challenges on this one.
It's probably in transit as we speak.
When it comes to this particular Godzilla machine, is there anything in particular that sets this apart in either its difficulty or the target shooting?
Sure. So, I mean, just from if you watch any of the videos of the machine in action, the mechs in this machine are incredible. So on the premium and LE model, you have this interactive skyscraper because, you know, you're playing as Godzilla, and you know, while you're battling these kaijus and other big monsters, you know, there's going to be some collateral damage. And in this case, there's going to be a giant skyscraper where, depending on the level that the building sets on, it's kind of hard to speak to it. It's much more of a visual toy, but depending on the level that the building sits at, it changes the path of the pinball. So say that when you start the game, and you hit the left or right ramp, you know, it's going to feed the path to the flipper consistently. But if you start bashing that building and it lowers or raises, when you hit those left and right ramps, it's going to go to a different direction entirely. And if you damage the building enough, it's going to open up a little skyway ramp scoop that feeds balls on top of the rooftop. And you can physically lock 3 pinballs, and it starts Godzilla multiball. And then the building kind of crashes down, the pinballs spill out, and it's, you know, Godzilla multi-ball pinball action.
I did see that in the video. That was really fun to watch that whole process.
Yeah.
So the other one I noticed was that magnet. Like, I've seen it's not the first time I've seen a magnet in a pinball machine, but it's one of the few times I've ever seen a magnet that has the ball swinging around it.
Oh, so that's funny. So there's multiple magnets. So I'll talk to the one you're speaking to, which is the MAGNA grab. It's an industry first, never been done before, but it's a magnet and Newton ball that's surrounded by that metal core. And when you hit it, depending on whatever angle, it can grab the ball, it can fling it, it can pulse it, it can hold it and stage it up for a shot, and it feeds it to that upper left flipper. So there's a lot of really cool moments where the ball, you know, to your point, magically kind of swirl around and almost catch itself on that. And what's really cool is the ball can be caught from 5 different shot angles. So even straight from the plunge, you can plunge the ball and it can get caught right on that, you know, kind of magnet grab. And then the second magnet in the game, which is really cool, is the Mechagodzilla. So there's a bank of 3 targets. And when you knock down Mechagodzilla's shield, it rotates and it reveals like a little spinner and a jump ramp. You shoot the ball, it hops up the jump ramp, bashes into Mechagodzilla, and there's a magnet in its chest. So it can hold the ball there to try to start Mechagodzilla multiball. Oh, this is a Godzilla universe under glass. And I even forgot to mention, there's a breaking bridge. There's this animated breaking bridge. So when you're kind of shooting the right ramp and hitting the magnet grab, you'll see a ramp that's physically shaking and it can break and the ball can fall onto the playfield because, again, you know, Godzilla knocks a few buildings along the way.
And this is another one of Stern's LED models. You have the display on the back of the machine, sort of not only just telling you your score, but also giving you like some video along with the game. Most of it will be linked into the targets on the board. But can you speak at all to any of the footage or any of the graphics that you're allowed to use for this particular LED?
Yeah, so yeah, for that back LCD, I mean, outside of like the custom animation that we do, again, working closely with Toho, we were able to get a lot of cool assets, video and audio from those 10 early Showa era films. So you'll see, you know, Godzilla and, you know, Jet Jaguar spinning around when you're hitting loops. When you're battling Mechagodzilla, you'll see, you know, Mechagodzilla turn its eyes on and shoot flames, and you know, you build up the heat ray for Godzilla to shoot his atomic fire. And I mean, you get transported into the universe of Godzilla when you're playing this machine.
I have to ask, like, what was it like getting that whole collection of movies together and just like going through them and picking and choosing what you needed from that era and like figuring out what would fit best into that?
I mean, can you really call it work?
That's fantastic.
Oh, I forgot to mention, we also have the iconic Godzilla song by Blue Oyster Cult in there, as well as the original theme song from the movie.
That's right. It doesn't appear in the trailer, but you actually have their Blue Oyster Cult. There goes Godzilla.
Go Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah.
So that plays during Godzilla multiball. So I mean, it really, the music, the sounds, the lights, everything in this game, it just screams Godzilla.
And the orders have already, like, as you mentioned, as you like hinted at previously, the orders have already been placed. The machine is available online. Some of the machines are already shipping.
Yep.
What happens after launch here?
Well, I mean, we're going to be building lots and lots of Godzillas, so that's definitely on our plate. And then, as we mentioned, Insider Connected is being launched with Godzilla. So once these are hitting locations, people are going to be able to start creating their accounts. That whole ecosystem of Stern connectivity is really going to blossom. So I would say, what's next from Stern outside of, building all the machines that we, continually build? We'll be launching our insider kits for the legacy games. So a lot of the games that are already currently out in the market, we're going to have a retrofit kit. So not only Godzilla is going to be connected on Insider Connected, but our previous titles as well. So for the rest of this year, you're going to see a lot of Insider Connected activity.
And now here's probably a difficult one, and you can choose to answer it or pass. But where do you go from Godzilla?
You never know.